Hello there, welcome to day 2 of the BetVictor Welsh Open. We certainly had some drama and some headlines yesterday as the top half of the draw played their opening 2 matches. It was a funny old day for the defending champion. Ronnie had a rant about the venue and then a real fight to stay in the tournament, battling back from 2-0 down against Rory McLeod in round 2 to take the tie 4-2 in the end. While it was more a test of endurance for leading Welsh hope Mark Williams, the 2-time former champion started at 10:30 in the morning and it was gone midnight by the time he saw off Barry Pinch's, a 4-2 win to take him into round 3. Well, here in the Players' Lounge, this is the Roll of Honour board. It's the bottom half of the draw today and we've got 2 former Welsh Open champions in our lineup this afternoon. Mark Selby won the competition 7 years ago. He's the current world champion and he won the German Masters just 9 days ago. Ding Junhui lifted the trophy in 2012, and who can forget last year's final when he was blown away by the rocket? And Ryan Day, one of 7 Welsh players in action today, will see shortly if this could be his year to shine. Yes, Ryan Day hoping to go through. We're with Dominic Dale. Unfortunately, you didn't make it through yesterday, Dominic. But
No.
Talk to us about Mark Williams. It was a late, bleary-eyed finish for Mark after midnight, but he is through to round 3.
He is, and he'll be glad that he's through to round 3. But, I mean, Mark will be a little bit concerned about the way he played last night against Barry Pinch's. Barry didn't play his best. I think maybe Mark, the sort of guy that he is and the champion that he is, if he was playing a top-notcher, he might have raised his game. But I think his highest break in that match was 45, and his second highest was 32. So that'll raise some concerns for him, I think.
But what a result for Jamie Jones with that victory over the Masters champion, Sean Murphy. Result of the day, surely.
Oh, yeah, definitely, because Jamie hasn't done as well as he'd like to have done since getting to the quarters of the world a couple of years ago. And against Sean, he had a chance to win 4-2, and Sean made a brilliant clearance to make it 3-all. And, you know, that it took a lot of resolve from Jamie to go and win that final frame, and he nearly lost it. But I'm really pleased and proud for Jamie that he won it.
And what about today? Several Welsh players in action. Ryan Day and also Lee Walker, who faces a tough one against Ding Junhui.
Yeah, they're similar style players. I mean, Ding's an all-round player, very good technician. Lee's actually a coach himself. He does a lot of coaching in the Southwest Snooker Academy. But, I mean, Lee's one of the Welsh players. He's been around a long time. He's been himself to quarterfinals of the World Championships, and be a tough test for him, you know, in front of the TV lights and what have you. So I hope he can do well, that's all. I hope he acquits himself well.
And what about our first match of the afternoon coming up very shortly? It's the world champion, Mark Selby, against Alex Davis. And you know all about Alex Davis. Tell us about him a little bit.
Right, yeah, Alex, he's a very attacking player, goes for a lot of shots. He's quite a quick player, gets on with it. But, you know, it's going to be a tough match for Alex because Mark Selby's going to make it difficult for him. He's going to tie him up in knots and he's going to have to play some good safety to create some chances. It's going to be difficult for Alex, but if he starts well, best of 7, anything can happen. OK, well, we'll get the full biog on Alex Davis in just a moment. But what about Mark Selby? We know he's the world champion, a former winner here, of course. But what else can we learn about the man behind the cue?
Favourite venue, I think, goes without saying, will have to be the Crucible, especially when it gets to the one-table setup. O'Sullivan I like playing against because I think it's sort of a big challenge for me. Everyone knows he's one of the greatest, if not the greatest player to play the game. Not really. I mean, I'm sure I'll be on the list of a lot of other people's players not wanting to play. Quite like Liam Neeson as far as actors go. I've watched a few of his films with the Taken films he's done and such. I think he's quite a good actor, so I'd definitely go to watch a film if he was in. And I'm not a huge film person. I mean, I've been a few times with Vicky to the cinema and I seem to fall asleep halfway through it, and Vicky sat there and just watches it till the end. Yeah, listen to a lot of music. Obviously, I like Kasabian, not only because they're from Leicester, but because of their music. I think they're really talented and a good band. Lee Evans would probably be my favourite comedian. If I went to go and watch someone, I've never been to see him live, but I've got a lot of his box sets and DVDs. Possibly Michael McIntyre. I'm not a huge fan of him. I mean, obviously, I know he is funny to a lot of people and he's like talented as what he does, but for me, I'm not really a huge fan. Just someone laid back, really laid back, easy to talk to. You feel as though you can approach them at any time, and well mannered as well. Ignorance really, and arrogance if anything. Not really, I'm not that kind of person now. I'll just look in the mirror and then do what I've got to do, brush my teeth, do my hair and go. Well, probably to look like David Beckham, yeah, but I mean that's never going to happen. Any big sporting event really, being a sportsman myself, anything which is like sports orientated I always seem to watch. Possibly something like sailing or something, I don't really get that, or rowing or something, I don't really find that attractive. When I went, possibly maths. Least favourite was probably every other subject.
I'm Alex Davies, I'm 27. I'm the youngest ever English amateur champion at 15. Been playing for 15 years. Stopped about 7 years ago when I fell off the tour to go on to do a bit of work on the railway and stuff. And then when Barry Hearn changed the game, I decided to have a little go again. And lucky enough to get back on the tour. The first time I was on the tour, it was, unless you were, well, not even I think it was more or less impossible, unless you done it like in a ridiculous, like Neil, who won silly amount of games. It gives everyone a chance now to play on TV, and we're having a go at the top boys all the time. So every now and again you're going to beat one of them, hopefully. Excited, but also at the same time I'd rather one of the easier draws. There's no easy draws, but he's probably the toughest or one of the toughest at the moment. It's just hard to beat, I think, what I watch. It just seems to be like he can win playing bad better than anyone else, and that's what he, well, I'm not sure he enjoys it, but that's what he seems to do all the time, and he plays well obviously then, and everyone's in a bit of trouble. Just pray he doesn't play his best and hopefully I can do something, well, out of the ordinary. But yeah, you've got a chance, we're all human, aren't we, so otherwise I wouldn't turn up. But like I say, I'm definitely the underdog.
So another good crowd in this afternoon at the Motorpoint Arena. The players making their entrance. It's Mark Selby against Alex Davis. Your commentators this afternoon are Terry Griffiths and Willie Thorne.
Well, good afternoon everybody. World champion Mark Selby taking to the stage. Just come off that wonderful win that they talked about in the studio, where he won the German Masters as well, so he's the man in form. I've got to be honest, I haven't seen Alex Davis play before, so I'm looking forward to that. I've heard a lot about him. He's an attacking player. Obviously, as he said in his pre-match interview there, he's got a little bit of a mountain to climb, but best of 7, anything can happen.
Thank you. The first frame.
I've got the pleasure
Alex Davis, the break.
Being with former world champion Terry Griffiths. Have you seen much of Alex, Terry?
Yes, I watched him play in Gloucester in one of the PTCs, and he played very well. Wrong potting's very good, and he's very aggressive, as Dominic mentioned at the start. You have to be very special today to beat Mark Selby, I think.
One.
Be too happy with the break off, would he? But he hasn't played on a television table, I don't think, so far in his career. So I'll be wearing a little mauve number today. It's quite a fetching suit, that one.
Yeah, come and fetch it. If you weren't so fat, you'd look good in it, wouldn't you? Let's be honest.
Yeah, he's an athlete, Mark, bless him. Keeps himself pretty fit. Does everything right, and I think you've got to do that in this day and age, too, with the number of tournaments they're playing. You've got to prepare for matches. He practices hard, he eats right. He's happily married now with the first child. But I don't think there's many players in the game works harder than Mark Selby.
Well, he's got his rewards for it now, isn't he? At one time he was considered a journeyman on the tour, and well, he could be dangerous now and then against certain players. Nowadays he's a potential winner of all events he takes part in.
all-round Terry? Would you put him almost the best all-round player in the game at the moment?
Well, I think what I would say he is definitely the best at is the safety game, escaping from snookers, laying snookers, and the angles on the table, you know, which are so important. It's a very big part of the game. I don't think he's the best long potter in the game. I don't think he's the best break builder in the game. But he's our world champion, and he's won the Triple Crown. He's won the Masters, the UK, and the World Championships.
The fact that this game's gone a little bit scrappy is safety exchanges will suit Alex. The fact they've got time now to just calm down. Nothing worse than when you're playing an opponent that you're probably second favourite against. If they go down and knock an 80 or a 90 break in first frame and you've lost the frame without getting a foothold in the match. You could do with a little bout of safety here just to get the nerves right. Big match for him. If that isn't going off, it's an excellent safety. The three reds up and to the right of the black, the middle one of the three, he can play off that red and just cut it back towards the black spot, sorry, the black where it is at the moment, and then get the cue ball similar to where it is now. So that's what he'll be playing. Just come round because he's a little concerned he might push the red that's nearest the black further towards the pocket. No real target area to get the cue ball in behind a colour, so he's just having to play in that area that Mark got in the previous event. That's not worked out okay. This red will cut.
Unexpected miss, but as it turned out, he may have left nothing on. The black's covering, I think, the left pocket for most of the reds, and could play a plant into the right corner. He's having a look here. That's very tight to get past that black.
Once Selby has missed that pot, as Terry rightly said, you're entitled to leave plenty on. Very, very fortunate there. Not too sure about leaving the cue ball over that side of the table.
Yes, it's two poor shots he played there for Alex Davis. He's really got to keep his safety pretty tight today if he wants chances. Selby missed the long pot previously, not this time. He's just about on the black.
mentioned right at the top of the show how much Mark Selby's improved over the years, and I've had the pleasure of watching Mark since he's been 13 years of age, and to think he would be world champion, triple crown champion,
9.
it's quite amazing. He was about the 5th best player in the club at one time, and all of a sudden in the space of 6 or 7 months he just turned into be world class. Amazing transformation. Same could be said about Neil Robertson. Never thought he would have got there, but now what a fantastic player he is as well.
You're obviously not a very good judge, really.
60.
Yeah, but usually they show signs as a junior that what they're capable of, and usually they're very good earlier on. I mean, Judd Trump's always been a great player.
70.
But you know, Mark Selby's just worked so hard at it, and you know, I think he's, as you mentioned earlier, one of the best all-round players we've ever had in the game. And Neil Robertson lost his tour card at one time and came over with 500 quid in his pocket the second time he came over.
22.
O'Sullivan's always been great since a junior. So not everybody does it straight away.
23.
There's 128 players on the tour, and they've learned an awful lot from Neil Robertson and Mark Selby, the way they've become one of the all-time greats. Doesn't happen overnight sometimes.
Third. $31. $36. $37.
Looks to be in good form.
44. 45.
Spent quite a bit of time on the practice table earlier on. I think he does it always, and he works very hard. As you mentioned, Willie, you know, he's one of those players. He plays in most events.
Are you one of those players, Terry, that if you were playing well, you'd still practice? I mean, Mark, whether he's playing good or bad, he spends the same amount of time on the table. Do you think you can lose your match form on the practice table if you practice too much?
I suppose there are limits, but I mean, if you're playing solo, I think it's hard work. But if you've got an opponent and you enjoy playing, then why not?
53.
I think the problem is with professional players, if they don't practice, they have doubts in their mind, when really they don't have to practice all the time, and they're not going to lose their skill. It's just that you feel that you should have played a little bit more when you go into the match.
There's so many tournaments these days that the players are virtually playing every other week. In our era, sometimes we went 2 or 3 months without a tournament. A little bit short of pace with that positional shot that breaks on 60 and counting, so very close to the winning line.
Mark Selby,
Reprieve
60.
for Alex. Good break of 60 there.
Not sure if he can see this direct, but he can play it cushion first anyway and stay on the black. He's looking at the red now on the left corner, which is strange.
Well, even if he pots this, it's the wrong shot, because you can't miss the one cushion first, and like you rightly say, you're bound to be on the black, where the red down the left-hand side is missable. He needs to get a foothold in this frame. Okay, he might still pot it, but it's dangerous taking this one.
1.
Good pot though. A little bit disappointed with the position.
big pocket there. He could pot it clean or come off the red. And that's what happened. He still left the red there, so he was okay.
Eight. Nine.
Needed a little bit of side on that to bring it close to the black. Okay, you'd still fancy him knocking the black in. Not quite got the cue ball under control at the moment. You see, that black's always missable. If he'd played the red over the pocket with a little bit more side and just brought it closer to the black, he couldn't have missed the black by chance. But you see there, he's a long way away from the black, and it's been his downfall there. This is frame ball.
One. Eight. Nine. Sixty. Seventy. 23.
A little bit disappointed to miss the red, but Alex Davis concedes. Mark Selby with a break of 60 has taken the opening frame and leads 1-0.
So plenty going on here at the Motorpoint Arena in Cardiff today. Let's just round up a few things for you. And news of two Welshmen who are out of the competition. Dwayne Jones, a former Welsh under-19s champion from Mountain Ash. He lost in a clean sweep by the world number 12, Steve Maguire. 4-0 the final score. While Daniel Wells from Neath fared a little better in his game, but ultimately takes his leave from the competition as well, suffering a 4-2 defeat against Gerard Green, the number 44 in the world. And just to bring you a few other key results so far today, perhaps the pick of those two former world champions through to the next round. Graham Dott and John Higgins both go through after 4-1 wins in their round one games. Let's return you to Mark Selby against Alex Davis, with Selby 1-0 up. Back to Terry and Willie.
Thank you. Frame two. Mark Selby to break.
He caught that a bit thick. As it turned out, though, he's not good his opponent. Didn't play it that way, but still. Don't think Alex will have a lot of problems here. They have two cushions probably up behind the back of the pack.
Foul. No miss.
No,
Mark Selby, 4.
I mean that's a poor shot then. I'm afraid he sort of he had a big target to hit the reds, and of course he's left this red on in the centre now for Mark Selby.
1.
Played for that red at the back of the pack there, with a chance now to split
8.
them open a bit, bring a few reds out. See the side, he had reverse side
9.
on then to take the cue ball up towards the blue. Played to perfection. Now and then, will he play the pack here, or is he going to play for the single reds? He part a few reds, a few colours, and then go into the pack.
14. 50. 22. 23.
Terry mentioned a couple of shots ago he could have gone into the pack from the blue, and that's the reason most top players, I mean, it's unlike Mark Selby not to take the opportunity to go into them. He wishes he has done now, because he's going to play the brown, 2 cushions, and it's a big target, but not guaranteed to get the cannon. No. That's turned out rather nicely.
27.
Would have been nice to get the run of the ball now and again, Terry.
$28.
A second chance in this frame. Ball's a little bit looser this time. Alex Davis is struggling here. He hasn't really scored many points. Scored just 9 in the first frame and made a few safety errors. I can't say he's missed any easy balls. He hasn't had any chances.
$41. 42.
A little bit awkward here, bridging over that red. Oh, he played that well. Needs the white to stop though. He's got too much on it. Such a good shot to play that, because he's hitting
14.
down into the ball, and that stops the spin rather than makes it go quicker, but he's just slightly overrun it.
Pink and blue are in the way for the natural safety shot he'd like to play, but he didn't really want to leave a shot to nothing on one of these 2 reds on the right hand side. Could stun it and go in behind the yellow if he could. That's what he's tried to do. Just down that side of the table
Mark
makes
Selby,
everything more difficult.
49.
of 60 in the first frame, 49 in the second. In total control at the moment. Now, is there a gap? Can you get through to a red? Just needs to get a little bit of confidence from somewhere. And as you can see on that picture there, he can't get through to that red. And the safety at first glance is not easy. He may have to possibly play the plant and screw in between the black and the red and try and get back into baulk, but he's in a bit of trouble here. Do well to kiss the red, not to kiss the red that's just below the blue if he plays that shot. I think he's going to have to play it though, just that's the only way I can see getting back into baulk safely. He's playing the long pot. It's got a bit of cue power.
How many points do you get for Cooper, Willie?
Not many. Sometimes it can get you out of trouble, Terry, can't it? But didn't quite get the desired. Another foot of screw back there would have left nothing on. As it is, it looks like it's going to cost him the frame.
1. Eight. Nine. Yeah. 60. Seventy. 24. 25. 32. 33.
'Pretty one-sided then so far this match.
40.
Selby's been dominant in table time on the scoreboard.
41.
He's thinking he needs a chance from somewhere. He's had half a chance so far in this match and he didn't take that, so I'm afraid when you're playing the very best in the world,
46.
you've got to bring your form with you. Don't make any simple mistakes. He's made a few, Alex Davis, with the safety play. And he will be punished against Mark Selby.
47.
Good attempt.
54.
May cross double it. No, he's missed one.
Mark Selby, 54.
He had
And
missed
the
a lot. He's done 49 and 54 in this frame, and he now leads by 2 frames to 0.
Well, I guess that's why Mark Selby is current #1 in the world. Dominic Dale is with us this afternoon. You said right at the top of the programme that Alex Davis would have a tough afternoon, and so it's proving so far.
Yeah, I mean, Mark Selby, you can just see when he's playing how comfortable he is out there in front of the big arena, the television cameras, the audience and everything. And it's tough for Alex Davis, who hasn't got, by comparison, any TV experience at all. You know, if he was playing on an outside table or something, he'd probably be more competitive, but it's a tough occasion for him playing the world #1, who looks so relaxed and in control of his game.
Is that a really difficult thing for young players, not just to be playing in a tournament like this, in a big arena, but also in front of the TV cameras?
Yeah, you know, the whole occasion, the big audience, I mean, I'm not suggesting Alex is in any way sort of demophobic, but it's not easy when you play in front of a big audience and the TV cameras, the spotlight's on you. You've got to have the right personality for that, and most of the top players obviously do, but some players don't like that, and they would prefer to play on an outside table, and you've got to have the opposite attitude to that. You've got to love being in the spotlight.
As Terry Griffiths said, there was a slight chance there, I think, for Alex. He didn't take it. So what does he do now? How does he try to find a little chink in the Selby armour here?
Well, you know, he's going to have to compete with Mark in the safety game, because Mark's a great long potter, so if any of Alex's safeties land short, Mark's going to pot balls and get in, and he looks very comfortable amongst the balls. He's making big breaks, he's scoring well. Alex is going to have to do the same thing if he's going to be competitive in this match.
Well, Davis trailing, he's at the table. Let's rejoin Willie and Terry.
Yeah, thank you. And that's not the best break-off again there. He's just not settled at all so far. We haven't really seen what he can do. It's my first time, as I mentioned earlier on. I haven't seen him play before. But he'll be very disappointed the way the match has started. The green is going to need all his cue power, but he probably might take the brown if the 2 reds at the back of the pack pot in the right hand side. He'll take the brown to come down for those. I can't quite tell from this commentary position whether they're available. I think the middle one will definitely pot in the corner. There you can see it's just about on. Looks like he's swinging it around 2 cushions for one in the opposite corner. Fraction too hard.
Five. Mark Selby, 5.
Looked in at one time. He's given
1.
Alex a good red to get started. So I'll be disappointed with that. I'm not quite sure what he played then. There's only one red that could really would go,
8.
and he kissed it out of the way.
Alex Davis, 8.
He's having a rough old ride out there. Hasn't got his touch yet. He scored very little. And that was a clear-cut chance there. We thought he was going to go into the pack and try and make things happen, but wasn't to be.
Well, he's not at the races at the moment, is he? Hit that far too thick. Luckily for him, the black's not available into the left-hand corner, and so Mark going to play a shot for a baulk colour. He'll probably still play the pot. That's a better safety. Put Mark under a little bit of pressure for the first time in the safety exchange. He'll be playing to get the cue ball in behind brown and yellow here, but he will be cutting that red towards the left-hand side pocket. He'll be cannon into another red probably. We've got to be a little careful. This is too thin, so this is the first. Oh, another chance now for Alex to get his cueing arm going.
One. Four. Alex Davis, 4.
Another chance passes by then for Alex. He really needs to get 30 or 40 points on the table, get a little bit of feel into his cueing arm. That's his problem at the moment.
Not too sure. We'll have a look at that for the second time. We're not too sure whether he looked at that before he played it. We'll give him the benefit of the doubt there, but the key thing was to get the cue ball back into baulk. It's certainly not easy to screw back with your cue from this distance, but now he's got the extended rest and the extension on his cue. It's very easy to miscue these if you don't hit them smoothly. He needs to get an awful lot of reaction from the cue ball. He may be better off running around 2 cushions, but I think with the topspin he'll generate, the cue ball will do well to get out of baulk if he plays it that way. This is not straightforward. Wow, got some reaction on that, didn't he? What a great shot. Deserved to be on something there. Can't believe how much reaction he got off that. Very good.
6. Alex Davis, 6.
Well, a bread and butter shot that, and I think he was disappointed with the shot off the blue. He played the blue so well, and not to be on an easier red, he just head dropped down. Highest break so far has been 9 from Alex Davis, and he's better than that. I've seen him play a few times. Can get embarrassing out there if you're struggling. Nothing seems easy at all.
Six. 7.
That's a clever little shot. Just flick that red out of the way, so those 2 reds are now available. And he'll play another little cannon here. He'll have to play this cannon quite firm though, otherwise he might stick on the second red. You just have to play it hard enough just to make sure the cue ball came away from that red. So if he plays this cannon slow, he could stick on the red. So he just played a little screw shot just to flick off the red, keeping the other reds in play as well. And the way he started this opening couple of frames, you'd expect him to win the frame at this visit.
20.
It's been a little more than a practice session so far for Mark. He's not been put under any pressure whatsoever from Alex. As Terry mentioned, he's a better player than this. Terry has seen him before, I haven't, but I'm just looking at his record. He's made a break of 137 in tournament play, so he knows his way around. He's had some good victories in his career so far. He's beaten Dominic Dale in tournament play.
27. 28.
All the great players just don't give you a look in. If you're struggling against them, they realise that, and they'll put the foot down and just make it even harder for you. If you didn't know before you started playing it was going to be tough. Did he hold the spot on purpose there? No real advantage for the going up for the brown, onto the brown spot, but he feels he can win the frame from just pinks and blues only now.
36.
The lead goes to 29.
42.
3 more reds and 3 colours will make the frame safe.
Yeah. 43.
He's made this look pretty easy, isn't he? His positional play has been very good in this effort.
Nine. 50.
You'd like to have been a little straighter on this. Doesn't have to do a lot with the cue ball, just screw back 3 or 4 inches, but he'd like to have been a little bit closer to the red than he's going to be. So this is frame ball.
56. 57.
A bit of trouble with it here. The cushions twice, he's not finished high enough. It's all about missing the kiss on black and brown here if he plays this around the table. Decided to make sure of the 6 points, which hopefully will mean that Alex doesn't come back to the table.
63.
So that break of 63,
Mark Selby,
following snooker's Mark Selby will go into a 3-0 lead.
One.
This time Alex decides to stay
On the front.
in his chair, so Mark Selby with that break of 63 goes 3-0 in front, just 1 away from victory.
So a 3-0 lead then for Mark Selby. A little bit of opportunity there for Alex Davis, but Selby's still in a commanding position.
Yeah, Alex did create a couple of openings there. Had some really good chances actually in that frame, and one in the frame before, but the reds were open, but he just couldn't control the cue ball. He kept running out of position and had to play a safety shot. So yeah, it's a bit of a struggle with the conditions, the table, the atmosphere, the whole occasion really Alex is struggling with at the moment.
It's just getting to him, you think, is it, the pressure?
Yes, and the pressure his opponent Mark Selby's putting on him. I mean, he's a world number one, he's just so comfortable out there, he loves the big atmosphere, Mark Selby, and he's making it so hard for Alex Davis, and he just can't get a foothold in the match at the moment.
Willie kindly reminded you there that Alex Davis has actually beaten you on a tour event. I think he's beaten Jamie Jones, a fellow Welshman, as well. I mean, what is it about Alex Davis, though? What are his strengths?
Yeah, he beat me in an event in China, a PTC, an Asian tour event there. Conditions suited him. I think he did very well in that tournament. He's got quite a heavy cue and a small tip size. He was getting reaction on the table that none of the other players could get reaction out of. The cloth and everything was so difficult out there. So the conditions suited him there, but the cloth on this table is like glass, and he's overrunning his positional shots. He's just struggling to keep hold of the cue ball and make the breaks when he's got the opportunity to make the breaks. And as you can see, Mark Selby's doing just that. He's got great tight cue ball control. He's scoring heavily and not really making many mistakes and giving Alex any opportunity.
And when you're in that position, do you realise what you're doing wrong? Do you sit back, can you work it out, or is it not until you've watched it back later that perhaps you thought, oh, that's what I did wrong?
You're aware of everything
You
that
know
goes
it.
on. Oh yeah, you tell yourself so many things. You know, come on, what's going wrong? You know, your position. You know straight away if your ball control's poor, or if you're missing shots thick or thin, and what have you. Sometimes you just can't hit a safety shot right, so you just school yourself to strike the ball well. And play the shots better, but it's never ever easy out there, especially playing Mark Selby.
Frame 4.
He's on his way back out after a little break, Alex Davis, but what hope this could be the clincher here for Selby?
Well, you know, Alex is just going to have to try and win. Obviously, he's 3-0 down. He can only win the match now by 4 consecutive frames, so that's going to be a tough ask, but he's just got to try his best, and, you know, he's got nothing to lose now, so maybe he can open his shoulders and go for a few.
This match he hasn't so
We shall
far.
see 3-0 down. Last chance for Davis. Selby leading 3-0.
Well, that's a good start.
1.
Pink doesn't go. Take the blue on though.
Alex Davis, 1.
Well, Mark said we may use the green here in playing this safety shot, just play the red into the green. We may even go into the pack with the red. Key thing is getting the cue ball back to where it is now. Yeah, it's gone into the pack instead. I didn't get the desired screw on the cue ball there, so whether that was a kick or not, I don't know, but nothing happened there, and he's looking at the cue ball as if he got a bad contact.
This red looks available into the left corner, but it's a very thin cut. He's having a look at the one in the right corner. More difficult pot. Well, he's come and have another look at that red. Oh, great pot.
1.
Nice again though. Wasn't easy then to get down any of the colours. Served a bit more for that pot. It's a good shot.
Behind in all departments, as you would expect, the way that Mark Selby's played.
Alex Davis,
Could be
1.
taking this red on. Should have really been trying to cover that red, because even if he left the one that's over the other pocket, it would have been difficult to get onto a colour. At least if he pots this one, he's almost bound to be on blue or yellow. especially with a kiss like that.
1.
So I can show you the camera angle in a moment. He's absolutely virtually dead straight on this. He's probably worried he can probably just pot it. The problem is though, missing the kiss on the brown with the cue ball. That's why he's looking at an alternative. He'd love to run through, but I think he'd kiss the brown, so that's why he'd probably just roll it in dead weight.
Six. Mark Selby, 6.
He thought he'd pot that red, whether it was clean into the pocket or off the other red, but got a little too thick.
One.
And then had to play for the black, and it's a tricky shot. You see the angle he's got there. Played it dead weight. Fully committed, excellent. That's the best pot he's made in the match so far.
8.
Looks like he's dead straight on this red. Could squeeze a little bit out of it, but not much.
9.
Big shot coming up. Now if he can get this black and split the reds out, a good chance to make a big break. It's not to be.
Alex Davis, 9.
Didn't really commit then to split them. And as it turned out, he's hasn't left anything easy on for Mark Selby.
Yes, he just looks like a rabbit in headlights at the moment, doesn't he? He's not getting nicely on colours to make things easy. Every time he seems to get on the balls, he's playing, to cut the black back. On 3 occasions now he's missed a black like that. Terry mentioned earlier in commentary, he just needs to get in the balls and make 30 or 40 points without having to do too much, little stuns and screws. He's always having to do things with the cue ball at the minute because his position's not been that good. Played to get the cue ball in behind the yellow there, but as you can see, the pace of the cue ball is perfect, and this is tough to get back into baulk. The one that's just below the pink spot, he could play the pot on that, but the angle of the cue ball, if he hits it thick, he'll cannon into the green, so he's got to be a little bit careful. If he pots it, he'll probably miss the go right in between the green and the red. So it's one of those, if you hit it perfect, you're okay for the safety, but if you hit it slightly too thick, you could be in trouble. There it is, look, he's hit it perfect, he found the gap. Well played. He deserves to be on the yellow. But he's got another cutback. It's just not running for him at the moment. Good pot, that. Deserved better.
Yeah. Alex Davis, 1.
The chance goes by. I mean, that wasn't an easy pot that he yellowed it into a blind pocket, very thin cut. Not the type of shot you're looking for really when your highest break has been 9 in the match so far.
One.
The brown, you would suggest, looks an easier ball to get onto the one that's just next to the blue, but he's feeling the yellow was going to veil better position. It's a strange choice of shot, that. I don't know why I didn't roll the brown in and leave the red in the middle.
3.
It's a solid 3 though. Oh, you can just get past that blue, can you? It's very tight. Maybe. You can't just stop the cue ball there because the pink doesn't go into the corner, I don't think. You may have to play for it in the centre. Makes the pot a little more difficult after stun run through. Beautiful shot.
4.
Perfect hit. He's on the pink in the middle.
Either red's not guaranteed. If he plays the red down the cushion, which he is doing, he's got to make sure he doesn't finish straight on this black, because you find it very difficult to get into a red if he does that. What's the angle like on the black? I think the red to the extreme left of the pink will pop past the pink in the middle. So if he's dead straight, there you can see the angle, or you just off straight. So maybe I'd run it round two, maybe certainly 2 cushions, maybe 3, to get onto a ball in the same pocket as the black. I suppose the only thing that could go wrong here, he could cannon into the green, which wouldn't help. And if he misses the green, he should be okay. Needs a bounce.
18. 90.
Well, this is such a shame for Alex Davis supporters. He may have some of his friends or family with him. He just hasn't got off this starting grid today so far. I don't know whether he's going to get another chance in this frame of match, but you'd think so. We'd pot the next 4 reds and 4 colours, which would put him over the winning line. He hasn't played at all. He's had chances.
27.
A baptism of fire on the TV table.
34. $35. $42. $43.
It's taken him into a safe position, and he's got this red by the look of it. Yeah, past the blue.
$51.
Very efficient display from Mark Selby. His opponent hasn't played at his best, but still got to do it. Alex must have been wondering what's happened here. He's put his work in, his practice. He must have been looking forward to this match against the world champion.
57.
Just wasn't his day.
$62. Mark Selby, 62.
Well, that'll do it. It's a handshake from Alex Davis. He'll be very disappointed, but it's Mark Selby that wins this match by 4 frames to 0.
So no problems for the world number one, Mark Selby, gliding through to the second round with a straight 4-0 win over Alex Davis. So we said before the game it would be tough for Alex Davis, Dominic, and so it proved. I mean, Mark Selby, that was a great start by him to his 2015 Welsh Open.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's all you want, just a good opening match, a good convincing victory, and to play pretty well, and he certainly did that today. He didn't make any century breaks, but he was consistently scoring much better than his opponent. Alex will be very disappointed today. I mean, he's potted some tremendous long reds to create some chances, and miss a second or third ball in many cases, and that's a shame for him, but he's a very capable player, Alex, but just needs a bit more TV experience, I think.
So he didn't really show it today, in your view. He's got qualities, but he'll be disappointed perhaps he didn't put up more of a fight.
He will be, it was never going to be an easy match for Alex. If he could have scored better, as Willie said in his commentary, if he could have made that sort of 140 or 50 break, it would have done wonders for him, it would have settled him right down, but unfortunately, he never really did that, so it was just tough all the way through for Alex.
We will we'll hear from Mark Selby in just a few moments. He'll be joining us live here in the studio. But in terms of Alex Davis, you mentioned earlier on dealing with the television cameras, dealing with the pressure of playing the world number one. What about his decision-making at times when he had those little opportunities?
Yeah, even in that last frame there, he potted tremendous long red to get going, and he was very unfortunate to land absolutely tight to the baulk cushion. The yellow was available. It was a very difficult cutback into a blind pocket. They're very, very missable shots, and if he had have chosen to snooker Mark Selby behind the yellow there, with the reds the way they were placed, there was very little chance of Mark Selby not leaving him straight back in amongst the balls, and instead he chose to take on a very missable yellow and missed it, and unfortunately left Mark straight back in for that frame-winning break. It's
a difficult one, isn't it? Whether you go for the ambitious shot or whether you try to play safe and then hope to pick up a later opportunity.
Yeah, I know what it's like when you play your first match or two on the television. You pot these great long reds because the audience don't really expect you to pot those, so you sort of pot them and you feel great, but then you've got sort of a close quarter ball, even though it's a blind pocket and a very, very tough pot to play. You always think to yourself when you're new to the television atmosphere that, you know, the audience expect me to pot this, you know, and it creates extra pressure on you. It's ridiculous the way you think sometimes out there, but that's what happens when you're not used to the television. Yeah, it's just dealing with that expectation, and will he learn from this? What will he learn? Massively, yeah. He'll look back on this, you know, when he goes back to his hotel or whatever happens, but when he's on his own and he has some time for reflection, yeah, he'll look at it and think, you know, where he went wrong, what he needs to work on, or maybe his decision making, etc., etc.
Here comes the man who didn't give Alex Davis much of a chance today. Well done, Mark Selby. I think you showed out there today why you are the world #1 and in good form right now.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't win anything in one visit. I sort of won most of my frames in 2 visits. But Alex is a better player than what he's shown today. I mean, I think it's his first match on TV, so obviously he's going to be a bit nervous, and I think he showed that by some of the balls he missed. I mean, he's on the tour, and everyone knows what a great player he is and what a great talent, and I'm sure he'll be back.
Can you empathise with that in a sense? What Dominic was making the point there about the television cameras, about being in this kind of situation for the first time.
Yeah, I can. I mean, I still remember my first time going out there. I felt like a rabbit in headlights. I was just fascinated by everything what was going on with the cameramen being there. You're not used to it and stuff, and you sort of get into your own little world, sitting there thinking of everything what's going on rather than concentrating on the job in hand.
But for you, I mean, that's a great start to the Welsh Open. You're in good form, as we say. You won the German Masters, 9 days ago, and you're seemingly taking that form into this competition.
Yeah, it'd be nice. I mean, best of 7s, it's obviously always going to be tough. Like I say, if Alex had got off to a good start today and settled down, and it could have been a different scoreline. But yeah, best of 7, you more or less need to get off from the word go. I mean, there's no time no interval, so it's not as if you can go on the practice table and sort of try and get your form back. So you need to be on the ball straight away.
How important is it, I wonder, just to make a strong start, a statement, if you like? I mean, we saw yesterday, Ronnie had a little hiccup here and there, Neil Robertson had a good day. What about yourself? How important is it for you to make a really strong statement right at the start of the competition?
Yeah, it is, but I mean, the standard nowadays, I mean, Neil's having 3 centuries. I mean, Neil's a class player, so stuff like that doesn't surprise you. It don't happen that often, but when it does, I mean, you're not really surprised because you know what class players they are. But the main thing is for me is to just keep on winning, and when you get to the latter part of the tournament, that's when you want to really peak. So it's a case of not peaking too early.
And how confident do you feel overall right now? Because you won the German Masters despite a hiccup earlier in the tournament. That was your first ranking win since the World Championship last year. You must be feeling pretty good right now.
Yeah, I mean, up until then, I did feel the pressure. I mean, I'm not going to lie, of being world champion, and I mean, I'll put a lot of pressure on myself anyway, going out there to perform. So with that expectation on me, going out there thinking that everyone's all eyes on me and you need to perform at the highest level all the while, which is not always the case, I did feel it, and I think it showed in some of my performances. So to get that win last week was a monkey off my back as such.
And how hungry are you to do well in the Welsh Open?
Yeah, I mean, any tournament I play and I'm hungry to do well. I mean, to win in Cardiff would be fantastic. I think I heard you say at the start of the show it was 7 years ago since I won in Newport, which seems like miles and miles away. So yeah, it'd be nice to have a good run, and it would be nice if I was to be in the final at the end of the week.
And you had an addition to the family, didn't you, just before Christmas? How's that going? Taking her around with you?
Yeah, it's good. Missing her a lot, not being there, but I mean, it's tough. You have to do what you've got to do. I mean, everyone has to go out to work, but Vicky's doing well, the baby's doing well, so it'd be nice to get back home after the tournament, hopefully on Sunday, and see them both.
So she's back at home and you're getting a good night's kip at the moment?
Yeah, well, I didn't play till Tuesday, and I'll come up Sunday afternoon to try and get some sleep. So
don't blame you. Excellent stuff. Mark, well done on making it through to round true. Thank you very much indeed for joining us. Let's take you to some more Welsh interest then. Another one of the big names of Welsh snooker playing today, and hoping to join the likes of Matthew Stevens, Mark Williams and Jamie Jones in round 3 is Ryan Day.
Technical. Ryan Day has a very wristy cue action. It makes for a nice touch and feel around the table, but occasionally it affects the consistent striking of the cue ball. On soft screw shots, he often dips the tip and risks miscuing.
He doesn't have the most uniform of grips, with the cue held in his index finger and thumb. The rest of his fingers don't provide much guidance at all.
Ryan is a big man, but he always looks comfortable on his address position.
He has great acceleration when hitting the cue ball. There aren't many players better when it comes to the power screw back.
Tactical. His shot selection is sometimes suspect. He occasionally misses a trick when trying to seal a frame and leaves himself open to a counter punch.
Psychological. It's probably not the sign of a poor temperament, but he does appear distracted sometimes by the need to keep the cloth clean of chalk and finger marks.
He's been in 3 ranking finals and lost them all. If he doesn't get into a final and break that losing run soon, it might be too late to become a ranking tournament winner.
So Ryan Day, twice a quarter-finalist at the Welsh Open in 2005 and 2010, but he hasn't made it beyond round 2 since then. 21st in the world right now. His opponent, Noppon Sangyam, is from Thailand. He's 22. He's never got beyond the last 32 of a ranking tournament. So we join this match with Ryan Day having gone into a 3-1 lead. We'll join in frame 5 with Day at the table. Trailing 17-26, Darren Morgan is commentating.
So then, Ryan Day in a snooker, very close to the winning line. He's a long way off with that attempt.
Miss. Once I come forward. Back.
Yes, no hesitation for Noppon Sangyam. Asking the referee to stick the cue ball back.
Right.
This looks a little bit better. And he's made contact. But he's given his opponent a nice easy starter. He's played that to perfection. Just to stand down now to the reds nearest the pink spot. And really at this level,
6.
you should win the frame at these visits. Well, he's dragged in off, I think. He has. Commentator's curse there.
Noppon Sangyam 6, Ryan Day 4.
Well, that was a poor shot. Well, that was a lovely struck and very confident shot by Ryan Day. He'll already be looking at this as a frame and match winning chance. Only 14 points behind, now 9. Well, look at that cue ball.
6.
Did he have a big bounce, or did he just get the contact wrong? Too much speed on the cue ball.
Thank you. 7.
So one good positional shot needed. Well, again,
11.
He's a little bit short on this. He's a tall lad, Ryan. This is not easy with the rest. Nopan Sangram
Round
will be
8,
very
7.
much relieved. Wasn't far away. If you catch the far jaw on these tables, they go in. Catch the near jaw, it's got no chance.
1.
Good initial red. It's all about colour to the next red now. He struck that very well. He could have done with it being a little bit closer to this red.
5.
Never easy across the top cushion. But you must pot them. You've got to pot them.
What one say come? 5.
And this could be a great shot if that cue ball travels up behind the pink. That was close. That's about 3 inches short of being perfection. Well, he was close in both pockets. And this red is cuttable into the right centre. You'd have to say Nopan Sangram has had 3 really good chances to win this frame. Now will he this time
1.
make more of this effort? And as I say that, he's landed in between, twixt and between. He's got a thin snick on the brown, he's got a long pink. He just could have done with our cue ball either slowing up by a couple of inches or speeding up. This is not easy. Under the pressure. Well. Put his hands on his eyes, he'll be relieved. Pink in. One good shot needed then. You just can't do it at this level. You can't keep missing easy balls.
7.
Especially against someone of Ryan Day's calibre. So in goes the yellow. He's 14 behind. But there's nothing really safe as long as he can get from green to brown. You'd expect this to be all over.
Five. Nine.
And this is how you like them. Pink to the corner with the black invitingly over the hole. It's all over. Nopan Sangram will be very disappointed with the way he's played. Ryan Day will be very happy that he's got through this first round of this year's Welsh Open. He progresses to the second round with a very good morning's work.
It wasn't the prettiest display. Made a couple of silly mistakes through lack of concentration at the wrong time, and yeah, I'll have to improve, but I'm through to the next round, and you can improve then. The table was quite nice. There's a couple of bounces, but the arena was good, and after the first couple of frames, the crowd started to come in, and yeah, it was quite full at the end, so it was a good atmosphere.
So Ryan Day through to the second round. Dominic Dale, he's made no secret, Ryan, that he wants to do well in this tournament this year, so he'll be pleased to get off to a reasonably good start.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, first and second round matches in tournaments are never easy ones, but you know, obviously the further he goes in the tournament, the stiffer the opposition will be. For me, I mean, I know Ryan. I've been practicing with him for probably 10 years. I know I used to joke he's almost like a brother. We used to practice so much together, but for me, Ryan's one of the greatest potters I've ever seen in my life, and if you've got that about you, you'll always be dangerous. So if Ryan starts knocking in a great long red and make a 100 break or something, boy, it'd be hard to stop then, because I know Ryan, he's one of these momentum players. When he starts playing well, he's virtually unstoppable. He can play the game to such a high degree. He's always a threat.
Do you think he's a realistic hope, though, this year? I mean, he's, what, 21st in the world right now, dropped out of the top 16 a few years ago.
Yeah, but he's been lower down the rankings than that. It's the last 2 or 3 years he's actually climbing back up the rankings, so he's certainly got some forward progression there. He's been in 3 ranking event finals, you know, so he's got the pedigree, knows what it's like, and he can obviously play in front of the cameras and the big atmosphere, and he likes that, and he's capable of playing his A game against the top players, which is another difficult thing to do. So, of course, he's a threat, yeah. Yeah,
so making his way back up the rankings, and in fact, another Welsh player through as well today, Michael White from Neath, got a 4-1 win over Ross Muir earlier on. 23rd in the world right now, Michael. That'll give him confidence as he looks to reach the last 4 of a ranking tournament for the first time. And another big result earlier on to tell you about. The world number 15, Robert Milkins, lost 4-0 to the unfancied Luca Brazel. So a bit of a shock there earlier on. Another Welshman on the way, coming up live on the programme, and a tough challenge against the former world number 1 Ding Junhui for Lee Walker.
Well, I turned pro in 1994. Did reasonably well starting off with. Got to the quarter-final of the World Championship in 97. Did alright in a few other tournaments, played at the Crucible 3 times in total. Played in the Welsh actually the last time it was here in 1999. Things didn't quite go so well after that. Ended up dropping off the tour in 2008. Landed up playing in the Q School this year. Ended up getting back on the tour, and here we are in Cardiff today. When it looked like I was going to drop off the tour in 2008, I couldn't really see myself playing anymore, so I wanted to stay interested in snooker, so I thought I'd give the coaching a try. Started doing it with the kids in Darren Morgan's club in Crosskeys. Started to really enjoy it, you know. When you see them making a little improvement, it's really nice, you know. And then some of them go on and play for Wales, which is great as well. And then it's sort of carried on a little bit more now. I'm going to, at the end of this tournament now, I'm going to Sweden next week. I come back home for a week, and then I'm going to Hong Kong for 3 weeks coaching as well. So it's going a lot better than the playing is, that's for sure. First year back on the tour after sort of 8 years. It's all changed now since I was playing on it. You know, we played one of the last seasons I played, I think there was 6 tournaments. Now there's closer to 26 tournaments, you know, so it's totally different. I knew it was going to be difficult, but I've only won 2 matches up to date. You know, I've already played Mark Williams' first round in a tournament, John Higgins, you know, Mark Allen, you know, all top players, you know. So coming in first round against those guys is tough, you know. And I've got another really tough one today. I mean, I think he won 5 ranking tournaments last year. So you know, I'm under no illusion of what it's going to be like today. It's going to be very, very tough. But I know that over best of 7, I'm capable of beating anyone. You know, obviously if it was best of 19, it'd be even more in his favour. But you know, you get surprises happening in sport all the time, so you know, I'm just hoping there's going to be another one today. If you'd asked me this time last year, would I be in this position? Would I be playing, you know, one of the best players in the world, you know, live on TV? I would have said absolutely, definitely not. So, you know, it's nice to be in this position. Hopefully I can go out and do myself justice.
Well, what about his opponent then, Ding Junhui of China? You'll recall run-up here last year, losing to Ronnie O'Sullivan in the final. He won 5 tournaments last season, recently world #1, but not in such great form of late. He lost to Ryan Day, in fact, in the last 32 of the German Masters recently. So, let's go live for Ding Junhui against the Welshman, Lee Walker. The commentary team is Darren Morgan and Willie Thorne.
Yes, thank you very much indeed. It was very interesting to hear that interview there with Lee Walker. Very heartfelt chat he had there, and he explained the situation very well indeed. And he was a good player. I haven't seen him play for a number of years now, but as he mentioned, he got to the quarter-final of the World Championship. So he's very capable. And Ding, this is probably the best time he could play Ding at the moment. Ding's not been in good form at all this season. After he won 5 tournaments last year where he was almost unbeatable, this year he's looked very vulnerable. So it'll be interesting to see how this match pans out.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Best of 7, first frame. Lee Walker to break.
So Lee Walker getting this first round match underway. Long time since he's been on the television table, I'm sure. And needs that Brown to come to the rescue. Not the best break-up he's ever done. I don't think he played for the pink, but he's on the pink. Played for the blue. So already a bonus.
Seven. Eight.
Just a little stun shot here for the red in the opposite corner, opposite middle I should say, and already he's got the ball's in the perfect position. The blue into the pack would be his normal choice.
13.
Depending on what angle he can get onto this blue.
14.
A lot of players play this shot very, very hard. I think when the pink's on its spot, it's handy to play them hard, because you've got to get the pink out of the way. But when the pink's not on its spot, I think you should play this a little bit slower. It remains to be seen how hard he hits this one. Reasonably hard. Hardly moved anything bar the one red that's come right over the middle.
90.
Yes, you'd have thought the cluster of reds then would have opened a little bit nicer than that, especially with the pace he played it at. But he has landed on this red to the left centre.
20.
A little bit disappointed, obviously, to kiss into the brown. It's been one of those seasons so far. I mentioned at the top of the show there that he's not in form at the moment. He's won his 2 qualifying matches, I believe, in Barnes the last couple of days ago. But on the television tables this season, he's looked totally out of shape, out of form.
Ding Yunghui, 20.
He obviously plays at my club in Cross Keys. Very good friend of mine. I'd love to see him do well. I know he was looking forward to this match. I just hope he stays positive. Goes for his shots. Much better player Lee Walker when he opens up. Move around the table a little bit faster and attacks a little bit. I'll be first one to say that if there's anything negative with him, sometimes he climbs into his shell. But as Willie said, he's up against Ding. Oh, last season had an unbelievable season. Not quite as good this year. But you know, it's all there in the locker, waiting to be unlocked.
Chimbo. One.
Even though there is a loose red available, he's got to go into the bunch here because the 2 reds just above the pink. One is definitely going to push over to the right hand corner and he'll be freeing the pink as well. So, well, he's queuing down on it. He may not be playing the cannon. Played it nicely. Unlucky. Unlucky. I mentioned those 2 reds were set towards that corner pocket, but he hit them perfectly. Have a little look to see whether it was a plant. I think it's gone in off the pink, has it? Yeah, went in off the pink. Unlucky. Unlucky.
Yes, because he hit it absolutely perfect. Well, he'll be relieved with that. To be fair, he played really positive and blew into the pack. He was unlucky. He wouldn't have expected to go back. Just over cut it in these pockets, as we've already said. They do not give anything. I think the bystanders in the local clubs and now, they look at the balls going in off the cushion and think they're big. Even when you tell them in the club how small the pockets are, they disbelieve you. But I can assure you, unless you hit them in the middles or at the right pace, these pockets on the pro tables will not have it.
One.
Oh, what he was hoping for was another quick chance, and he's got a perfect chance now to take this opening frame. Okay, he trails by 23 points. If it was in practice, you'd expect him to get 50 from here. I suppose he's not perfect on yellow or green, but with the red hanging over the pocket, doesn't have to do too much with the cue ball.
Very well struck shot. He's very competent with the rest, Lee Walker.
4.
As Willie said, the balls are nice. The black, unfortunately, is a little bit tied up, and the pink, I think that will go into the left corner. And the right, was a little bit of work to be done before it's a real good chance over there, we can see. He's played for the blue. He could have played for the pink. More room for error in playing for the blue.
This blue's a lot easier now, the fact that the brown's off its spot, because you can just play up and down over the spots. He was a little bit apprehensive when playing in and out of balk. It's such a big target there with the brown being off its spot. Well, that's flew off the cushion. Absolutely took off. I mean, when you consider he played to finish about 2 foot past the blue and it's finished nearly on the back cushion, that just shows how much that's flew.
But it has turned into a real good shot, because he's perfect on the red. So one good positional shot now. He could be in real business.
$11.
Now he's got the pink on its spot. You can start to relax a little bit. It was all the first 4 or 5 shots were a little bit tricky. In a few shots time, once he gets rid of the red 2 up from the black, that'll open the black into the left hand corner as well. So just work on the pink for a couple of reds.
18.
Lovely lad, Lee. He is a charming fella to talk to. Family man. I think his wife and daughter are here today watching.
24. $25.
A little bit short there. Got it done with another couple of inches, but that cue ball just makes it a little bit awkward. You can't even punch this in off the cushion. Red would be in the way. If the red goes past the pink to the left corner, he might try a little slow drag. I don't think he can hold for the red. He's played it well. This is looking very good at the moment from Lee.
Essential to get a good angle on this next pink, because the red he'd like to get rid of now is the 1-2 up on the black, and doesn't want to finish the wrong side of the pink. Not a bad choice to screw back on and off the cushion for the blue, and that gives you more margin of error.
32.
It's okay, as long as he's straight, he's okay. Just a little bit off straight, isn't he? I'm not too sure that he can avoid the kiss on the black in running through. Maybe just roll and just gently kiss the black would help. No, I didn't think he could miss the kiss on the black. Now this is missable.
38. Lee Walker, 38.
It was a big shot. Well, Lee called it. It was a lot more difficult than he needed to have been. It was a long way off that one. But never mind. Back in this frame. 14 ahead now. You're feeling a little bit better and settle down a little bit. Butterflies will be dissipating. Very well struck. Distance red. Nothing wrong with his cue in. He hasn't been on the box for a very long time, but first time around as a professional. He played on there quite often. He knows what it's all about. He knows how to win.
He's 21 points in front. He's going to need the last red.
7.
Either half ball blue or 3/4 ball pink he needs to play for here to give him every chance of getting right in behind the red.
8.
I'd like to screw right in behind this red to give him choice of pockets. You can almost play for 3 different pockets in this shot. If you underhit it, you're in the baulk pocket. If you overhit it, you're in the middles. Needs a bounce. This is one of those little
13.
tricky cutbacks. Okay, you should pot it, but it's frame ball, which puts that little bit of extra pressure on you.
Yes, I'm confident he'll knock this red in. As I said, He's very competent with the rest. Hope I haven't given him the commentator's curse. He won't forgive me when he gets back to the club. And I have.
You're more confident than me, Darren. I thought that was missable, that red, I've got to be honest.
Lee Walker 30.
He doesn't miss a lot with the rest. That is one that's gone away. Very, very good.
Oh, that's a bonus. Lee will be delighted. I can only presume the way that Ding's looking, that may have pulled up a little bit. We weren't directly behind it, so we can't see that. So these are the ones you love for frame.
One.
Nothing settles you more than getting a frame on the board. Let's see if we can. Oh, he got a bit of a kick actually, and then it's gone up the table. Yeah, the kick probably made it go high. And the referee needs to be the other side of where she is now.
Five. Seven.
Having a bit of trouble with that bolt cushion at the moment. Once again, that came a lot higher than he expected. Well, Ding nods his head in improvement, so Lee Walker, a big match for him today, had to get off to a good start, and he's done just that, and he takes the only frame.
So we've already seen two Welshmen through, Ryan Day and Michael White going through earlier on, and Dominic, well, maybe, just maybe, a chance here for Lee Walker. Great start for him against Ding.
Yeah, that will settle him down no end, just winning that first frame, get off the starting block, so to speak. Willie alluded to the fact there that in the commentary box that he's playing Ding at the perfect time, which is true. And for me, as regards Ding, he's a bit short of match practice slightly in winning matches and that all for me stems back to the time, I think it was the International Open, where both he and Mark Selby didn't qualify for the final stage in Chengdu in China. Because of not qualifying for that event, he had at least 3 or 4 weeks before the next tournament arose, and I think that was the Champion of Champions. That's a long time to not be playing matches when everybody else has been playing matches, and he's never really, for me, recovered from that yet. He's just short of matches, short of winning matches, and he's always going to be vulnerable until that starts to happen again for him.
I mean, you know Lee Walker very well. You came up through the amateur ranks with him,
yeah.
So will he have taken confidence from the fact that Ding isn't in great form right now?
Lee will be very aware that Ding's been struggling, definitely, but of course he'll be just focusing on himself, being out there in front of TV cameras, which is not something he's accustomed to of late. So, you know, he's got his own battles, but that first frame will have settled him down no end.
It was almost the frame that got away, but he got it. He's 1-0 up, Lee Walker. Let's rejoin Darren and Willie.
This is not the best of breakoffs from Ding, and he has left a potable red on the right hand side, but it's one of those, if you get the pot you just miss the black, but if you catch it slightly thick you'll hit the black, so he might decide to play a safety shot instead. Nice cue action, isn't he? Looks very compact. Good safety shot, well played.
Another good shot by Lee. The green has come to his rescue with this red to the right corner, but it's well struck. At least he's giving Ding Junhui something to think about. He's quite happy at the moment.
Good shot. And twice across, try and get the cue ball tight on the cushion. A lot of amateurs here would be trying to get. Oh.
Ding Junhui 4.
And the fact that it's touching the ball, he could find himself in trouble now. What I was going to suggest, it's sometimes better to leave the white tight on the cushion and make your opponent hit a red rather than get the snooker, because the snooker they're just going to go off 2 cushions rest in the pack.
Good long look then, Ding. He's covered the red. I think he was panicking that that cue ball was just going to slide past the green, so Lee could go for this pot as a shot to nothing, as it is. It'll just be the safety. Right, so he's left the tempter. For Ding, just got to concentrate on the pot. Cue ball will naturally come down towards the black. It's got a slight angle on this red, so obviously you don't make the pot, he's going to leave a red to left corner.
One.
And he actually played it in such a way that if he had missed it, he would have left nothing. As it is, it went in nicely on the black. So again, it's a chance now for Ding to settle himself in. Had a good look. I think that black is going to go very close to the spot. I don't think it will respot. So he'll be hoping this fits on there. If not, it'll be up to the green spot. It's going to be close. So it's down to the green. Just makes things work a little bit
8.
harder. All players like to see the black and pink on the spots. Makes it much easier for break building.
Nine.
Because of Ding's lack of confidence at the moment, he's just not getting through the ball as much as he would like. He's just about got the angle here to play for the red on the black spot. There again, you see, he's not got through it. He's left the cue ball a lot closer to the cushion than he wanted to.
14.
Amazing thing, confidence. Everybody goes through it. You have spells in your career where you can't miss a ball, and you have spells in your career where you doubt yourself. And I think Ding's just going through that. The latter one I just talked about. He's doubting himself at the minute.
Played that one well. Never an easy shot. Close the cushion and striking down on the cue ball. This could have gone wrong. We'll give him a little bit of confidence. He's still going to have to play another good shot though to continue this little mini break. He's got a couple of options. He's looking at playing the black. Have 2 cushions for the red just to back of the cluster. This is all about making the pot and getting the pace right. In goes the pot. Unfortunately for Ding, he didn't want the cannon on the yellow. He's played to come through the gap.
22.
I thought he'd have gone around the other side of the yellow and off the side cushion towards the middle pocket. He's still not comfortable out there.
Ding and Wee, 22.
This may be worth a tempter down the cushion. Bound to be on the black, should it go in? Okay, he can play safe off it, but the double kiss is a problem. Should take this on. I know it looks dangerous, but he knows he's going to have to take this on. The safety is just as difficult as the pot, so you might as well play the pot. Don't blame him at all for taking it on.
Yes, and to be fair to him, he wasn't far away. And what he's left Ding is not easy. And that's why Ding is looking at the red to the left centre, which looks a much harder shot than the one behind the black. The one behind the black, he's going to have to fully commit. He's either going to have to drop it in and leave himself low on the black, or punch it. And they're not easy at pace. As you can see, especially when you're not full of confidence.
I'm just in a state of shock, really, the way that Ding played last year to the way he's playing this year. I mean, it's just amazing to me. And Dominic alluded to the fact that he may have gone 3 or 4 weeks without, you know, a tournament game. But I mean, in the 80s, even though the game was at its height, we used to go months sometimes without playing. You put your work in on the practice table, and there shouldn't be a problem. But Ding looks totally all at sea to me at the moment. I don't know whether he's got anything wrong in his private life or anything like that, but he just doesn't look the same player.
Well, Lee does put the work in on the practice table. He works very hard at his game. And he'll already be looking at Ding as year for the taking today. Well controlled cannon there. So that could always have gone wrong if he'd got the wrong connection. I mean, this could be as well what Lee needs really to relight his professional career. As he said in his pre-match interview, it's been a bit of a lean year so far with only 2 wins. This maybe could be the start. Long way to go. I don't think he's going to have a better chance than he's got at the moment to beat someone of Ding's scalp anyway.
Just overrun that by 2 or 3 inches. It'll love to be dead straight on this red, so he can just run through for the black. You can see there he's going to have to play. I'm not even sure he can play it slow enough to get a full ball contact on the red next to it to stay on the pink in the middle. I think it's possibly kissing the red half ball the wrong side. We'll know in a moment. Was able to get it full ball. That's good.
40.
Just got to get on the black. He'd much prefer to be on the black rather than the pink, but obviously had no option that time. He's a couple of shots away from making this a frame winning chance.
Yes.
This time, no problem in getting onto the black. Very rarely you see the spider being used, but it's already been
21.
used twice in this match so far. Both times he's potted it. 100% pot success rate with the spider.
Yes, Wills, and as I said, he's good with the rest. He's only missed 1 with the rest.
28.
Watching him play, I'm surprised he's only won a couple of matches this year, because he looks at ease with himself.
29.
He looks to be cueing nicely. He looks confident. Usually when he hasn't been on the television table for quite some time, like the first match with Selby, his opponent looked like a fish out of water. It's not the same with Lee. I know he's had experience before, but a long time ago.
Yes, and he certainly won't be frightened of playing any of the players. He's been having practice sections with Mark Williams, Matthew Stevens and Ryan Day, and a couple of the other Welsh boys. Seen Daniel Wells at the club, and you know, so they've been putting him through his paces.
36.
Andrew Padgett's been at the club playing with him as well. So it's not that he's not playing good competition. He is. And what we're seeing at the minute
37.
is how he plays at the club. He said when he's gone away to tournaments this year, he's just lost that form.
I thought for a minute he'd run through a little bit too far to make it easy, but I think the one just behind the pink pots into the opposite corner. So he'd like to finish straight on that red, so he can just run through again for the black or pink. Doesn't want to finish low on it. High is better than low. He's finished low. Now he's going to have to play the cannon off the pink and just hope he runs through enough for the black. Still should be okay though.
44.
Just got to make sure he doesn't run through and leave the cue ball on the cushion. He's looking for a problem that I don't think's there. He's bound to kiss into the pink. Well, I'd be playing a little bit of topspin, just half ball kiss off the pink, and be nicely on the black. But he's putting bottom on it, so he's playing the cannon to push the pink into play, but not guaranteed to work this. Played it nicely though, well done.
$51.
As long as he's straightish on this pink, those three reds, I'm sure at least two of the three will pot in the opposite corner. So this is an excellent start for Lee, just what the doctor ordered. He looks almost certain to go 2-0 in front now. Nice to see him playing again. I mentioned earlier, he's got a great personality, lovely lad.
58.
They're 32 points in front. Three reds to be guaranteed of taking the second frame, and where the reds are, you'd expect him to do that. I just hope he doesn't screw back for the pink, because he could kind of underscrew it and not leave a chance to get onto those last three reds. If he just rolled it in 2 inches, it'd be on the black half ball, guaranteed to get onto the... You see, that's the problem, you see. And once you get the wrong angle on the pink, it's no good. If he just runs through 2 inches, leaves a half ball black, and plays the black to get on the three reds. Poor shot that, could cost him.
Yes, I agree. Should have definitely played for the black. Okay, if he got on the pink, might have been saying it was the right shot. But even in playing that, I think it was still a poor choice. He's looking now at a real tricky black. Only saviour to him, he can play it in a way. If he plays a slow drop, if the black stays on the all, he would block the pocket, but well, he's playing a safety, put the brown safe and get a good white. And that is the only thing I would say with Lee. Every so often, I mean, he's got the snooker, so he might still get out this frame with his next opportunity, and he's still in total control, but sometimes he does go a little bit negative and into his shell. And if Ding Junhui now was to get out this snooker and get safe, he had a nice easy pink then, he could have played with check side. Obviously got a cue with confidence. With what we've seen at the minute, Lee Walker is playing full of confidence.
all at sea, isn't he?
Foul.
Ding at
Miss.
the moment.
Lee Walker 4.
There's 7 points in it, of course. I've got to be a little bit careful. Dingy doesn't give too many points away. You'd expect him to get pretty close to it this time. I think he's a little bit, closer to the cushion than that. The line's good, but I think now that she's put a little bit higher up, it makes the angle on now. It wasn't necessarily on before. Well played.
Yes.
Well, if this is touching, it's just perfect, just to roll up off one cushion right tight in behind the brown. See, he's overthinking here if he's thinking of putting the blue safe. There's no need to put the blue safe here. Just get it tight behind the brown. Well, this just shows you just lack of tournament play. Absolutely no need to put the blue safe there at all. You couldn't miss getting the right tight in behind the brown.
Yes, I suppose if you take a real negative out of that, he's put the brown now close to the blue, or the blue close to the brown. So it makes it easy for snookers and easy to get from brown to blue. That's not the best shot that Ding Junhui has ever played, and he's going to hope this blue's come to his saving. I don't think it has. Not easy, this red, but you feel he's got to go for it.
He just knows that the angle he's got is going to be kissing into the pink and the two reds. That's why he's digging down on it. He's looking for negatives now. Just lack of match practice. That's all. That's he looked really good in the early part of this frame. He's now looking for a reason not to play shots.
Well, he's digging up. If he digs up, he's going to be playing us at pace, and this red could go anywhere. You feel he's got to go for the red in the middle, even though he could get the cannon. It's red in the colour to be 2-0 up. He needs a jaw with this red. Well, I think he's going to settle for that. Wasn't the prettiest shot he's ever played, but it's a good result.
Ding Junhui 1.
So Lee's still in the driving seat. He's in a little bit of trouble here. The main thing is here is just to make sure he makes contact with the red, not to give too many points away. He'll do well to get the red behind the pink. Not much room to play with. I think that's what he's looking at.
Foul. Miss.
Well, he's doing his best here, Lee.
Junhui 7.
to make a bit of a mess of this second frame. In total control he was 10 minutes ago. He's just gone a little bit negative. And I said in my early commentary, he's a much better player when he's thinking positive and playing more positive. He's just got to weather a little self-doubt storm that's going on in his head at the minute. And even if he gives Ding a chance, it's going to be hard for him to do any real damage with the yellow, brown and blue where they are. Without a shadow of a doubt, this frame should have all been over by now.
He's had another result there. Not only has he put the pink slightly more difficult, he's done well to leave the cue ball in the safest position. Okay, Ding will probably be forced into taking a pot on here. No straightforward safety. But can he get another colour? Green. It's probably the only one he can get on. Nice decision time, isn't he? He's probably thinking of playing the red that's nearest to the cue ball and sending it in for the black, but of course if he plays the pot and misses it, he'll be leaving a straightforward shot in the opposite middle for Lee. But he decided on the safety now. .29 lead for Lee Walker. Ideally would like to play the pot in the middle, but the cue ball is going to be pretty close to the jaws of the green pocket. Just looking now to see if it's worth risking playing the pot and leaving the cue ball in the jaws, but I think that red will be cuttable.
It's a great shot. Played that to absolute perfection. If it hadn't gone in, he got a good cue ball. Does he go for the green, or does he play the snooker?
Well, with the colours as they are, he's got to take the green on.
Green ball.
It's a strange game. The reason I'm saying that is if he comes off the cushion, hits it and gets it safe, he's gained no advantage at all, but okay, he might leave it on. You only need the red. But you can be ultra careful sometimes, and I think he's being too careful at the moment. It's worked in his favour. Needed a few chances to win this frame, but certainly deserved to win it.
1. Lee Walker 1.
There's plenty of room around the back of this yellow. And just play the slow drag shot here. Is almost certain to snooker behind brown or blue. Good escape. But this time he's left the pot on for Lee to take that 2-0 lead.
I think if this yellow goes in, Lee was to miss, I think Ding would come back. Well, the yellow's gone in. Just made sure of the yellow. And he wants it to roll a little bit. So he's going to snooker himself then. Still value in Ding coming back, really. He wants 2 snookers. He'll be looking for a good white behind the blue. It's not there.
Lee Walker 2.
He'll be relieved, I think. He's pushed the blue where he has, because there was a big target to get the cue ball in behind. He's played a good shot there, and I think he's been a little bit unfortunate that the green has come over as far as it has on the table, because Lee can play now a swerve shot on the black. He's got a big target. Probably be playing off the back cushion. That was the only problem, but as an anxious look then. It looked like he was going to find his way at the corner pocket instead. I think he's fluked the snooker. So he's on a little bit of a rubbly Walker, but he's playing very well. And you tend to have the rub the better you play. But I think that's it. Ding Junhui has conceded the frame, so Lee Walker will be feeling so much better as Ding leaves. Nice break at 59. He now leads 2 frames to 0.
Well, I think they'll need a little breather after that frame, and while they do, let me round you up a few other results from elsewhere this afternoon. A few upsets to tell you about. Michael Giorgio, who's 89th in the world, a 4-1 win for him against Peter Lines, the tour player. Interesting in the context that Giorgio will now play the winner of the match we're watching between Ding And Walker, elsewhere, Ahmed Saif from Qatar. He's the world 1-2-3, only won one match all season, but he's beaten Anthony Hamilton, who's 51st in the world, 4-0. Robin Haller, good win for him, another lower ranked player. He's beaten Kieran Wilson 4-0 this afternoon. And we're hearing as well that Stephen McManus has beaten Jamie Clark 4-2, so that's another Welshman on his way out of the competition. So we talk about possible shocks here this afternoon, and Dominic, we may well be seeing one here with our man leading by 2 frames to 0, but boy did he make heavy weather of that frame.
Yeah, he played, as they alluded to in the commentary box, Darren and Willie, that he played a couple of negative choice shots towards the end of that frame. He seemed to be over-protecting his lead. I mean, one instance there when he's got a touching ball as a result of Ding escaping from a snooker. Just as Willie said in the commentary box, just had to come off the baulk cushion, tighten behind the brown. If Ding was going to hit any of them reds, he was almost certain to leave one on, and the frame would have been over. Instead of that, he took an extra 10 or 12 minutes to seal that frame. But if I was Lee Walker, I'd be looking at Ding's way and say, look, he's bereft of confidence. He's not looking himself out there. I'd be wanting to bully him, be aggressive, look like I'm after him. But instead, Lee looks almost the same as Ding does. He's just scoring better. And he is, as Darren said, just having a tiny bit of a more favourable run of the ball.
It's a strange thing, isn't it? He leads 2-0, but you look at his body language in his face now, he doesn't look entirely happy, does he?
The whole occasion's a big thing for Lee. He's probably, maybe he's a little surprised to be 2-0 up, and now he's got to sort of work out, OK, I'm 2-0 up now, I wasn't expecting that, and now he's got something else to cope with, and I wouldn't say overconfidence, but finishing off the match.
Well, the term that Darren used in commentary, somewhat dramatically, was a storm of self-doubt. Is he doubting himself at this point, even being 2-0 up?
Well, no, I don't think
he's got to take confidence from that, surely.
Well, he'd be confident if things are going really well for him. There won't be any self-doubt as such, but the whole occasion, he's just over-careful because of the occasion. If he's on the practice table, he'd be much more self-assured playing Ding than 2-0 up. But it's the occasion that's making Lee play the way he is. And I personally think there's a lot more snooker left in this match. Yeah, I can still see this being a very close match.
It's intriguing. There could be a shock on the way. Lee Walker leading Ding 2 frames to 0.
Yes, I couldn't agree with Dominic more than that, but I just think the fact that Lee was looking so good after the first frame and a half, and then all of a sudden he started thinking about, I can win this match. Instead of to be ultra careful. I think this is a massive frame for Lee Walker supporters. I think he really needs to push on here, because he needs to get a bit of that confidence he had in the first frame and a half. Good pot from Ding.
That was very close to going wrong. He's missed the jaws of that middle pocket by millimetres. If he'd caught him, he'd have been in no man's land. As it is, he's perfectly on this red.
6.
And he's played for the angle. Well, this is a bit of a flat pack, so he wants to catch directly above. There's a little gap, lots of pace. Well, he's okay there. I thought he'd try and play into the gap of the reds.
He plays that shot as good as anybody, and Ronnie O'Sullivan's another one. He's played the stun into the pack there rather than the screw. I agree with you. If he's going to put plenty of action on the cue ball, he'd play for the gap, but look how well he's played it. It's tough to play, to talk yourself into, Darren, isn't it, to play the stun into the pack off a shot like that, but it's a shot that wasn't available in our era. The Reds definitely split better than they used to do. But he couldn't have played that shot better. And he needs some confidence a minute, Ding, at the moment in time. His high break is only 22. And Ding, for me, over the last 4 or 5 years, has definitely been one of the top 2 or 3 players in the world. Not this season. wanted to be on the
21.
red at the bottom of the pack. They have to decide to play the alternative, the one in the middle, which is not the one he played for.
$22. $27. $28.
Oh, that's a lovely little shot that Ding's played. He's undoubtedly one of the game's great break builders. I love watching him break build around the black spot, but as I just said, he's been just lacking in form at the moment and lacking in confidence. But when he's around the black spot area, there's nobody better.
Yes, I don't think he was happy with that one. Oh, he's landed a bit straighter on this than he'd have liked. He wanted a nice little angle. Well, he's had a big bounce there, and I think he's in no man's land.
43.
And that's all because of the poor shot he played from the red before getting onto the black. Does look like it's a big bounce off the side cushion. We know how fast these tables are playing this week. Well, that's end of break, I think.
Ding Yong Wei, 43.
Played that nicely.
He'd be quite happy with that little snick on the brown. I think if he'd missed the brown, he'd have had a bigger path of these reds. He might still be able to just slide past. I don't think he can get to the outside edge of them. He might be just playing the red into the pack and drop in the white onto the cush. Well, he could get through. Very thick. Nearly caught the jaws, but he'll settle for that as long as the cue ball stops, which it does. A very good shot.
Or can Lee get through to the potting angle of this? If he can play a stun run through around the back of the black. But it's a tough pot to play. He can certainly pot it. He's got the angle to play around the back of the black, but it's one of those, if you hit it badly, you hit into the black. Oh, he couldn't have played that better. That's beautiful. Couldn't have struck that better. One of the top players in the world couldn't have played that better than that. Just shows you what a class player Lee Walker can be, because that was played to perfection.
Eight. 9.
Well, even though he's well behind in this game, he's almost favourite to win it. Where the Reds are, they're perfect. What a body blow this would be for Ding Junhui supporters should they lose the frame from 43 in front. Gets through the ball so nicely.
17.
Now just make sure you go high on these Reds. There's two Reds at the back of the pack will pot in the opposite corner. I think he's just about got the angle. Yes, he can run around two cushions, but just make sure you're high. You don't want to be low. Now how's the pace? It's good.
Yes, he's starting to look really good again in amongst the balls. He's got a real solid technique, Lee Walker. Works very hard at his game. It's good to see him showing everybody what he can do. Obviously we see it at the club every day. There's nothing better than doing it live on TV.
Once again, he had to finish high on that red. The only way it could go wrong if you finish low. He had such a big margin of error. He's not bound to get onto a colour here. And even if he gets on a colour, he won't be perfect on it. So he's faced with a tough putt on the pink, but it's one you'd expect him to knock in, but there's a bit of pressure on this one.
Going with confidence every shot. He cued that absolutely lovely.
39.
He's right back in his frame now. Only 4 points behind. Everything out in the open, bar for the green.
40.
Centre of the pocket, that one. This is good. Very good.
And he can just get over the winning line if he takes high value colours with these three last reds. He might only need the yellow. Probably a good idea to have a look at the scoreboard here and try and work things out. The black puts him 4 points in front, so 3 reds and 3 blacks puts him 28 in front, but obviously you wouldn't expect him to get a black off the last red. But you'd like to at least get the pink. So he needs to look at the scoreboard. He doesn't want to have to be playing to get onto the green.
47. $48. 54.
He's looking at the scoreboard now, so he's trying to work things out so he doesn't need the green. Really important, because to put that green on that top baulk cushion would be tough. He doesn't want to have to do that.
$55. $60. $61.
Well, it's a little bit of a surprise with the way he's decided to go about the end of this frame. He's now going to need that green. Like Willie said, if he took high value colours with the last couple of reds, he wouldn't have had to play the difficult green. And that's gone a little bit awry. Wrong side of the yellow.
63.
The way he's going to get on the green is by swinging this cue ball all the way around the table. He's looking to see if he can play this for run inside. I'd be very surprised if he can get close to the green with run inside. No, it's never going to happen.
65.
So he's put himself right in the driving seat. 22 head, 25 remaining. Still work to do.
The problem is, Darren, it's green ball game now, isn't it, where the colours are? Really should have had a look. He could have taken the pink off the last red and still won the frame with just potting the yellow. Just better hope he gets another chance, because he'll be kicking himself if he loses this frame now.
He's played a good shot there.
65.
I think he can just get to the screen, but this is not an easy safety shot we played. Another inch to the left, and he'd had a full ball snooker. He's still in the driving seat, Lee.
Not sure he can get the pink back in the safe position unless he plays to hit it cushion first. If he plays to hit what he can see, okay, you get the cue ball at the baulk end of the table, but the green's going to be an open play. He may just have to play a negative roll up and just push it on the side cushion. He's got nothing easy here. That's all he's played. And you see, it can roll off. He needs the pink to come to his rescue. Oh, you can't believe how bad he's played that if that pink is not covering the pot. He's all at sea, isn't he? Just so hard to believe. I keep talking about last season when he was the player of the last decade, really, in one season, winning 5 tournaments. And now he's struggling to win a match.
3.
Strange game. 25 in front, 22 on.
Seven.
So I just wonder whether Ding will come back to the table should Lee Walker miss this.
Lee Walker, 7.
Oh, Ding started with 43, Lee Walker replied with 65, and barring snookers, Lee Walker will take a 3-0 lead. I wonder why Ding's carrying on really. Three snookers needed. Maybe trying to knock his rhythm out. The fact that he's just made breaks of 59 and 65 in the last 2 games, 38 in the opening frame. He might be coming up the table now. I just hope Lee doesn't pop off to have a comfort break. He's got things in his way. Ding might leave the auditorium. I hope Lee doesn't. Very, very good, Lee Walker. Breaks of 65 in that frame, following up to the 59 in the previous frame. He goes 3-0 in front.
Yes, another good story bubbling away here. We'll be back very shortly. But let's just take you to a dramatic match that finished a short while ago. And the world number 8, Stuart Bingham, pushed all the way by Thor Huang Leong, the 125th ranked player from Malaysia. Certainly an unknown quantity who had Bingham on the ropes for a good while in this match. But the Englishman, runner-up here 2 years ago, through in the deciding frame to go on to round 2. And in the game between two of the old guards, the former world champion Peter Ebdon winning 4-0 against Tony Drago. So let's rejoin Willie Thorne and Darren Morgan because, gents, Lee Walker could be on the verge of an eye-catching victory here.
Yes, couldn't agree more, Ian, and it'll be no one more happier than me. He's from my club. He's played it all his career, first time around and now second time around. He's a lovely lad, terrific talent. Like I said, if I had to be ultra critical, sometimes he's just goes a little bit negative and he stops himself from playing really well. But so far today, he's done everything right. Obviously Ding has helped a little bit. He's had a couple of chances and he hasn't made the most of them. That's to take nothing away from Lee Walker. He's played very well when he's had the opportunities. having a little look at this red. I think if he goes to the pot, I don't think he can miss a collision on the black or the red. There might be a small gap available, but he'd have to play this to absolute perfection. Well, he found the gap. He caught the red a little bit thick. How has he got away with it? He's left this red to the left corner. It's not easy. It's a thin snick.
Foul.
When it rains, it pours sometimes, doesn't it? When you're struggling, when you're lacking in confidence, just try to make sure of the pot there, and didn't have any clue where it'd end up with the cue ball, but obviously in and out of balk would have been on choice of colours. Now, can he play this in such a way it's a shot to nothing? I don't think so, unless he screws back for the green. I don't know why he's leaving it. I would have been playing this dead straight to make sure you get the screw. Oh, beautiful shot. Beautiful shot. There's a lovely gap in between the pink and the right hand red. If you could just gets the cue ball into that gap there and just plays any cannon there, absolutely bound to be on the red. But okay, he can play for the loose one on the outside, but he's probably not noticed that choice of shot. Is he on the red here? Has he overscrewed it or underscrewed it? I don't know.
6.
I think he's just about on it, but I'd say that's the first little twitchy one we've seen from Lee. He didn't get through the ball too good.
7.
But in goes the red. He's on the black. So the train keeps on a steaming.
Yeah, that was the reason I thought he'd play the gap after that blue, and because now he's going to have to play a really good shot to get onto red. If he risks playing the outside red to try and leave one in the opposite corner, the kiss is not guaranteed. No, he's missed that. You can sometimes try to be a little bit too careful.
One.
Obviously going to play into them here, and needs a bit of good fortune where the cue ball's going to finish. Just about got it, a little bit close to his work, but he should be able to pot this red and get onto the black.
Yes, he wasn't happy. It's a lot thinner than he'd have liked. Under normal circumstances, you'd still fancy him. And in goes the red.
9.
But he's certainly out of sorts. No matter what ball he plays here, it's not a gimme. He was totally confident it'd be the blue every day of the week. Off the side cushion. Down for the reds, just above the black. Well, he's played a good shot there. That was a good pot.
14. 15. 22. $23.
Well, he was in the balls last frame and broke down on 43. He's in the balls this frame and
30.
obviously can't afford to break down at all now, but he's got to make every post the winning one. 3-0 behind.
31.
And even then, he's lost the cue ball a little bit. All of a sudden out. This positional shot gets a little bit tricky. I think he's going to just roll through and just try and miss these 3 reds. He's done well there to find the gap. To miss that red.
38.
I thought he was always going to just catch the bottom red of the 3. That must have had a gap of a paper width.
39. $44. 45.
In some ways, this is probably the best thing could have happened to Ding, really, with him being out of form. He's lost the first 3 frames, knows now he can't make any mistakes, and that may just give him the concentration he's needed.
51.
When your back's against the wall and you know you can't make a mistake, sometimes you play your best snooker.
52. $59. 60. $67. 68. $75.
On the break, looks like there's a great chance of a centre here, but this is tough. Well done. All of a sudden it looks like he's in good form now. A little bit unlucky to have not finished a nicer on the blue than this.
$81. 82.
Well, he deserves a century here, the way he's played these. Been a good match, really. I know Ding's missed a few early on, but
85.
Lee Walker's played lovely in the opening 3 frames. This is the first real
87.
chance that Ding's had. to win a frame at one visit. .378 centuries that Ding has made. We're talking about him having a bad season so far. He's already made 15 centuries this season. Made 52 last year. Oh, 62 last year.
99.
So the pink for a century. Very well done. Excellent break. Ding's back was against the wall and he needed to find something. He found it really well with that centre and he's reduced the deficit to 3-1. But still has to win the remaining 3 frames.
So it certainly won't be a clean sweep for the Welshman. You said to me, Dominic, a short while ago that you still thought this could go either way, and you might be right, because, well, starting to show a little bit of class there at last, the world number 3.
Yeah, I just thought even in the last frame, Ding was showing the signs that he did there, of making a big break. If it wasn't for a ridiculously fast bounce off the side cushion, which stymied him, he may have made a century in the last frame, but showed good resolve there, Ding, to make that century break after going 3-0 down. Lee Walker's playing fantastically well out there. I mean, he's looking very calm and composed, and he is a snooker coach, as we've alluded to before in our pre-match stuff, but you know, and that technique that Lee's got for himself is standing him in good stead, and it's keeping him calm. And sometimes when you see a match going the way that this has gone, you know, for 3-0 for Ding, sorry, for beg your pardon, for Lee, you're expecting Ding to do something. You can't just win 4-0 against somebody playing or as capable as Ding is. You know, somewhere down the line,
there's got to be a bit of drama somewhere, hasn't there?
Yeah, something's going to go wrong somewhere. You know. And, well, it's 3-1. I mean, obviously Ding's got it all to do. He's got to win the last 3 frames to advance, and but you know, with Ding, he's capable of doing that. Yeah,
and that frame there, perhaps more about the qualities of Ding than anything that Lee Walker did wrong.
Yeah, absolutely. I expect Lee will get his chances in the next 3 frames to close out the match. He's just got to focus on taking those chances and doing just that, closing out the match. He only needs 1 frame. 1 big break would do it for Lee.
Although we talked earlier about the psychology and perhaps a little bit of self-doubt from Lee Walker when you're playing someone like Ding. I mean, will he start to have a little bit of doubt now that Ding's got his foot back in the door?
I wouldn't say that, really. I'm sure Lee, sitting in his chair at 3-0, would expect something like this from Ding. I wouldn't say there's massive pressure on him yet, but if it went 3-2, the pressure would just build and build and build, and then it'd be whoever holds themselves together best. But for the next frame, at least, I think Ding should be quite calm. But you know, the other problem is he just needs 1 frame for victory, so it's a big frame for him. There are other pressures involved.
What do you see happening? What's your instinct?
Oh. Do you know, I'm going to get this wildly wrong, but I wouldn't be surprised if this next frame went fairly close, or, you know, if Ding did get in and he got a favourable split or something, might make another century break, but, you know, there's going to be some tension somewhere during the course of this next frame, I think.
Well, we'll find out, because the 2 players are back out. They're ready. It'll be Lee Walker to break. 3-1 the score.
So Lee breaking off. Obviously for Lee and all of his fans here, he'll want this match over as quick as possible so he doesn't have to suffer too much, because as Dominic alluded, if it does start going closer, Lee will start to suffer inside. He's only had a couple of wins this year. This would be by far the biggest, and this could be the start of better things to come. I don't think he's going to get a shot at this red, or if it is, it's going to be very thin into this middle, so I think it's just going to be the safety. He has left a double, but I can't see Lee playing the double. He might surprise me though. No. In the club, he'd play the same shot, 10 out of 10.
1.
He settled for that, and he could do the cannon on the brown. And he didn't get the cannon on brown, but he is on this brown into the left centre. Obviously, you got the easy roll up behind the green, but how many chances do you get to win in front of your home crowd live on TV? He's got to play the brown. If it goes in, big rewards could lay ahead.
It's a good pot, this. On the brown, he can just screw across the face of the pink and leave the black into the same pocket as he's playing the red. This is the key shot now, because you'd expect him to get, if this goes in and gets on the black, you can see 40 points coming very quickly. This could be the catalyst to win this frame and match. I'm not saying he's going to win the frame with this visit, but if he gets nicely on the black, you'd expect him to be at least 40 points in front. Check. Well done. He's got a chance now.
Yes.
Just a question, how can Lee hold himself together? As Willie said, there's 3 reds out in the open. If he can take 3 more blacks of these reds and put himself in a commanding position in this frame.
14.
Just got enough angle on the black, as you can see there, to run around 2 cushions. Just got to be careful he doesn't kiss the red that's on the right hand side there, nearest the right hand side cushion. Just needs to go around the back of that, or definitely doesn't want to kiss it. Just got to make sure he avoids the kiss on that red. Oh, anything but that. That's poor, really. You've got to know that kiss is on. Goes with a little bit more side, he doesn't kiss it.
This is a lot more difficult now, this shot, with either red really. And he's playing the positive shot, I think, through the bunch of reds. This has got to go in. Well, he made the pot, he cued it well, he just didn't play it quite hard enough. He just quit a little bit on the shot. Just wanted to push through a little bit more there. I think he got slightly thicker contact than he'd have liked as well.
Excellent safety. I know the lead's only 22, but he's put the black out of play. Putting to make a 50 or 60 point break at some stage in this frame, he's going to need the pink in play. So it's not a bad choice putting the black safe with. I know it's only 22, but in the frame he needs to win the match. He'd like a scrappy frame. was very risky to play it that way, but he played it well. Okay, he did it a little bit too hard, but it was a tough one to play.
Well, what a shot that was. And no one's seen that. That had to go in at that pace as well. He's been a little unfortunate, really. He hasn't landed on a colour, or a shot at a colour anyway.
I can't believe he's not landed on a colour. I mean, he hit it so good, and there was just no reaction from the cue ball. It's almost like it'd gone in like a brick. Nothing happened. Good chance to show it again. Just the cue ball just did nothing. Unlucky, but he will bring the pink into play here, which he needs.
Yeah, so you see how high the ball, the cue ball bounced first, as if it was a light ball hitting an heavier ball, stopping his tracks up in the air. Obviously, as you've already alluded, Wills, in our day, balls are a little bit heavier, so he used to push through. But you watch this now, if we can see it again, a bit slower. Watch this cue ball. Look how high that cue ball bounced before it started going forward. All the spin gone.
Yeah, it took the spin out of it, yeah. I'd be a bit reluctant myself to move this red, but he hasn't really got an easier safety shot than this. You think might play this pot down the cushion and screw back. Could it be on a baulk colour? No guaranteed easy safety shot to play. So aggressive, these top players now, normally when their back's against the wall. I think he's almost forced into playing it.
Yes, there's no easy safety shot really, is it? The game today is, if you're going to go out, you go out on a pot, not a safety, but there's no real easy safety shot.
If he plays this thin, he's got to be very, very careful. If it's slightly thicker than he wants to, he's played it well. Played it good. Excellent shot. That wasn't straightforward. He's put Lee in a lot of trouble here.
Yes, he has, but he might have given Lee a shot to nothing. The red to the left of the cluster of three. He can play that as long as he gets the gap between pink and the red near the right centre. He's having a little look to see if he puts the white on this top cushion towards the jaws, what kind of angle he's leaving him on that red. Have to be right in that pocket, I think. And that's not bad.
At the moment has the upper hand on this safety exchange. Lee may have to play another negative safety shot here, but it's too risky to try and get back into balk. The Reds are in the way either side he plays. The thing is, if you try and leave the white at this end of the table, you don't find the top cushion, you know that Ding's going to play one into either the baulk pocket or the middle pockets. He's got to find the cushion. He came round to look at this red. If it's on, he'll play the pot.
Well, I don't think this red goes into the left centre. So again, he's going to look to see where he can put Lee in maximum trouble. It's looking like thin off the two reds in behind the yellow. He's played it very well. He's got a good cue ball. He has left a shot for Lee, for the red, on a gap around the back, but obviously it'll take very good cueing. He's having a little look. One good shot and he could be in real business.
Once again, if you get the pot, you go through the gap of those two reds on the right hand side. If you hit it slightly too thick, you might make the cannon on the first red of the two on the right. Played it nicely. I think he could get the upper hand on the safety exchange now, which he has done. That's the first time he's had the upper hand. Amazing how one good shot can turn things around. He's been playing catch up in the safety department for the last 3 or 4 visits to the table as Lee, but he's played a real good shot there. Played a shot to nothing, but just flicked the brown and went safe. Oh, that nearly went wrong, didn't it? Any slightly thicker contact on that and he would have been in trouble. key to get the cushion. I think he's done that. Well played. Once again, Ding's going to have to play a negative safety shot here. There's nothing guaranteed to get back into baulk. Okay, the 2 reds on the pink spot can go back into baulk, but those 2 reds on the right are going to cause a problem. Looks like he's taking that choice. This could go wrong. Got to be very careful on those 2 reds on the right hand side of the table here. He's hit it bad. Oh, goodness me, nearly hit that red.
Yes, he's very fortunate there. That could have been over and out. Just needed, well, you could say, did he play to it thicker, thinner? Obviously the way it's hit the red, he could have done with a lot thinner, but he'll settle for the result. Straight up and down again for Lee. He's got a good cue ball again. The only problem is when you play that kind of shot, you do give your opponent the advantage. As it happens, that red has just gone far enough up the table that Ding can't play a straightforward safety into the bulk area because he'd be leaving the red to right centre. So we could see him play the same red up and down himself.
Well, it looks like this time he's playing the aggressive safety shot, trying to get back into baulk, but once again he has that problem with the red on the right hand side. Just a fraction too hard, but where the reds are going, this 21 point lead is quite, it's probably worth where the reds are at the minute, about 35-40 point lead with the reds in open play, so it's in his favour, the black being safe obviously. It's going to be hard to Ding to make 40 or above where the reds are at the moment if he does get a chance to get in. There's been some good safety shots played, I've got to be honest, in the last few visits. Okay, the cue ball's not near the cushion, but a lot of tension on the last few shots have been played.
Again, a very good control shot. That's exactly what he's played, to draw the red, and if it went in it was a bonus, but to get a good cue ball, which he's done. He will be relieved, Lee, that that red hasn't gone back off that corner and stayed there. It has gone up the cushion a little bit. So all of a sudden Lee Walker's got the upper hand back in the safety bout.
Is there anything on in this left hand corner as the blue come to his rescue? If there's any sort of pot on, he'll take it on. I think you can see the one that's in the middle of those 3 reds that we can see the one that's nearest the pocket, they can pot that. Just concentrate on the pot, don't worry too much about the white. If you try and start playing with check side, these become difficult. That's what he's done, just concentrate on the pot. Now he needs a favourable kiss. Has he got one? He hasn't. Amazing, isn't it? All of a sudden, a good kiss there. He's got a chance of getting a real big lead in this frame. Like I said before, anything above 40 from now would be an excellent break where the balls are. But Ding is behind the 8 ball, as it were. He's in trouble.
You walk one.
No problem obviously hitting a red, but as we always say, it's not hitting one, it's getting it safe. I'd be amazed if he doesn't make contact with the red, but that many different ways. You can virtually hit any cushion and get to a red, but which one can he hit and not leave an easy pot? He will be leaving some sort of pot on, I'm sure. I think I'd be playing for the red that's nearest the left-hand corner pocket, because even if he hits it, as long as he doesn't knock it right over the pocket, he's not leaving an easy shot, and where the colours are, it's going to be tough for him to get onto a red. I think the one that's nearest the left-hand corner pocket is the one he should try and get to. Just over a minute and a half thinking time. Well, he's in real trouble now, and hence over 2 minutes thinking time. It might be a hit and hope at the way he's looking.
Foul, miss. Walker 4.
Well, I'm sorry, we will have to leave it there, but don't worry, we'll bring you the result later as part of our evening show at 7 o'clock on BBC Two Wales, when we'll also have world champion Mark Selby's second round match live. Until then, thanks for your company this afternoon. It's goodbye for now.